Good afternoon. I say this every week. Good afternoon and welcome. I believe I'm live. If you are here, let me know. This is Pat Mayer in Akron, Ohio. And I always have to make sure I've got all the buttons pushed and everything is working. So I'll give it a minute until somebody lets me know they're here. Otherwise, I will get started and show you what we're doing today. There we are. Okay. I'm live and recording, and welcome, Gloria. Thank you. It's always good to know that I'm not talking to the airspace. So if you are here, you're seeing me on Facebook Live. And if you are watching the replay, it's probably on YouTube or perhaps even watching the Facebook replay. Either way, I welcome you and thanks for stopping in today. We're getting ready for another snowstorm here. And so what better time to craft than get all your supplies ready and make pretty things. So last week I had mentioned something about using the Encircled in Beauty dies, and I got a couple comments. Yes, please use that. So that's what I'm going to focus on today and what I've been playing with all week. Welcome, Fran. Good to see you here. So let's talk about Encircled in Beauty. When I first saw this, and it's from the annual catalog, not from our current mini catalog, so it's going to be hopefully around for a while because I think it could be quite a staple in your stamping stash. Say that 2 or 3 times fast. But when I first saw it, let me grab the catalog. It did not grab me because I thought, oh, I'm not that kind of fancy, whatever. And besides, it was kind of hard to see in here. It's on page 70 in the annual catalog, and these dies were just not, I don't think, shown enough. But anyway, then I started seeing some ideas with it and samples, and I saw the versatility of it and how it can not only work with this stamp set, excuse me, which is called the Encircled in Friendship bundle. The dies are called Encircled in Beauty, but how this can be used with so many other things. And I'll show you, oh, goodness sakes, excuse me. One of the cards that I made was something else. So they could be standalone and not necessarily used with this stamp set, although I really do like the stamp set too. And I do have the bundle, which is 10% off if you buy those 2 things together. If you pay any attention to the samples in the catalog, you will get a lot of ideas on how these can be used. The dies are shown on page 159 in the catalog. Oops, let's get up here to the top. And you can even see a different way that they're used there. So with that in mind, let me show you what they actually look like cut out. So I can put that away. Okay, these are the dies. There are 6 of them. This is just an outline. You can see how that can layer with this one. This is an outline that actually goes with this one. So this, which is what I'm going to actually feature today, looks almost like a laser cut when it's used alone. But if you put this around it, then you get a doily shape. So it's really a brilliant design on how these are done. So there's those 2. And then with this one, it cuts out a nice circle too. And I'll show you the cutouts here in a second. And then you have this one, which also cuts out a little circle. And this one, which does not cut out a circle, but just has room for a nice little sentiment in there. Welcome, Sue. Glad to see you. So those are the dies. There are 6 of them. And I'll be needing those in a second. And these are the die cuts that I've put on a piece of black cardstock. So this is the one that is a standalone and looks like a daisy, or looks like a doily. But then when it's cut out with this one, it will look like a a laser cut. And then you've got this one, these other 2, they can all be layered together. You can make so many different things with them. So, yes, Nancy, I know it's one of your favorite, and I probably bought them because I saw you use them. So you enabled me, and I've fallen in love with these. So let's get going. And let's see, move things out of the way here. I will need to bring these dies back in. Okay, let me take that hostess code off the bottom there so that you can see a little bit more. Yes, as demonstrators, we tend to enable one another, correct? Yes. Gloria, I think I enabled you. Is that correct? Because you saw that too and said, I think I need that. And it's just up your alley, because I know you really like the lacy, fancy things. And I do too. I really do. All right. Let me show you, first of all, I think, the card that I'm going to make today that will look like the laser cut. And then I've got lots of other samples to show you too, because I just think this is so brilliant and so easy to do. And the paper that I'm going to use is the, where did I put it here? I'm going to use basic white, and then I'm going to bring in the Simply Marvelous, and it is marvelous with a marble look, which is a Sale-a-Bration or Sale-a-Bration free option, which now we only have 1 month left. And there are so many different colors in here. And we've got gray, we've got blue, and all the colors are listed back here. Balmy blue, basic gray. I suppose even with that basic gray, you could use black with that if you like a black and white look. But what I've realized is that one side is the lighter. So this would be like the Blushing Bride, and the other side is more the Flirty Flamingo. And so these are the 2 choices I'm going to have today, with the lighter here being the Highland Heather. I forgot that word. Highland Heather, and then Gorgeous Grape with the darker side over here. So you've got lots and lots of choices. It's a great option for Sale-a-Bration, which is free with a $50 purchase for now 1 month left with the end of February. And February is a short month, so don't forget that. So I'm going to die cut, take this die, and I said I was going to make it look like a laser cut. So I have a piece of basic white, and I'm going to put that here, kind of not exactly in the center, a little bit higher than the center of a piece of paper that is 11 by 4 1/4, and it's scored in the center at 5 1/2. So let me bring my Stampin' Cut and Emboss over here. So many times if I'm using a die cut, I'll have it done ahead of time, But this one, I think you need to see how it's done while I get ready to make the card. So I've got a plate 1. And what's so nice about this is everything is labeled here on this plate to tell you exactly how to sandwich all of these plates that you need. So we've got plate 1, a plate 2 that's used because we are using the thin dies, a plate 3, and yes, they get all cut up. Maybe it's about time for me to get a new set of plates here, which I do think I have. I just, as long as it keeps cutting, I just keep using these. That just tells you that they're well loved and used a lot. So we've got that, and let's put this on here. Put this back out of the way a little bit. And if you lay your top plate down, so we've got 2 plate 3s, lay your top plate down instead of sliding it in, your die should stay pretty stable. Otherwise, if you're not sure that will happen, you can take a Post-it note or a piece of washi tape to keep it from slipping. Now, let's see if I can get this through. Usually I stand up to die cut. And this is big and it's got a lot of detail on it, so I'm going to take it through once, take it back through again, and one more time for good measure, as everything keeps slipping around here. So, and my little grid sheets are slipping around here. All right, so this is what we've got. You do get this circle, so you don't want to throw that away. That's going to be very useful. Maybe not for this particular project, but for something else. And most of these, if you cut it through enough times, it's going to just pop right out. Or you can take a, wherever I've got it, I don't have my brush from my Take-a-Pick tool, so I'm going to use this other brush. And just kind of brush those little pieces out. So there, you can see how easily those popped out. And there, it looks like a laser cut. Okay, I guess we cut a piece of blue there because there was a piece of blue left. I think it was Misty Moonlight. Okay, that's a little bit off center, more than probably what I would particularly like, but I'm going to go ahead and finish the card for you to show you. And then if you like to vacuum or clean things up, just push those things on the floor. All right, so that's what you get with that. And I will show you, okay, let me do this right now while I've got my machine here handy. I'm going to show you how the other part works too. So let's put this back on here. So now I will take this, let me try to make this one a little bit better centered, and take this die and put those two together. You can run them through at the same time. And for this, let's see, that looks, yeah, that looks a lot better anyway. So now it is going to totally cut out that, what looked like the laser cut before is going to cut this out. So let's see if I can get this one a little bit straighter and maybe not slip. Okay, I think on that other one I just didn't have it centered well. So let's put that down there. Okay, I am going to stand up because I get better control with my machine if I stand up and do this. And I can look down on it a little bit better so that you see the front of me instead of my face. Okay. So one time through, back again. And this is good exercise. It's cardio, right? And back again for good measure. And every machine is a little bit different. And if you have a different die cutting machine, you will know how much pressure you need to use to get your dies to cut the way you like them to be. All right, so now that's what I've got left in here because it cut out the whole thing. So I had both of these, and now this pulls out, and look how absolutely gorgeous that is. And again, you've got this piece that's left over. And let's get the dies back on the little magnet sheet that I keep. And pop these out. Okay, I could get a little sponge thing here that would make it a little bit better. I can also use a little pokey tool because this is rather detailed. You've got these little tiny little holes, and that's why I many times have things punched out ahead of time. And maybe I should have put it through a fourth time for good measure. Okay, so yeah, they did cut through, but they're just not popping out as easily as the other one did. Okay, I'm not going, because this isn't the card that I'm going to make. I'm not going to finish it, but you can at least see the detail that you get with that, which is the same thing that we get here. All right, so let me give you a choice, since there are a few of you on here. I've chosen, what is it? Highland Heather or Flirty Flamingo. So which card would you like me to make while I put this away? Flirty Flamingo or Highland Heather? And that's the paper that I'll be using. So clear that away and give myself some space and get back up here. Flirty Flamingo or Highland Heather? Okay, Sue said, well, Nancy, I know why you would say, well, you said Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to go with the Highland Heather because Sue popped up there first. And let me show you that gorgeous paper again. There's that one, and then here's the Flirty Flamingo. And I do have partial colors for both of those. So let's move on here. Okay, I have this. Let's see, I didn't get all those tiny little things punched out. So there we go. So what I'm going to do is to take this piece of the Simply Marvelous, So actually the card will be so you can see both sides. You'll see it here as well as here. And it's a little bit longer, so I thought I had this cut to the right size. So, all right, I'm switching gears here. I guess maybe this is kind of like stamping on the fly today, ladies. Let me grab something here. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this off using my paper trimmer, and maybe I can align this so that this doesn't look like it's off center so much. So sometimes you just have to adjust yourself. There, even that looks better. So that's the 5.5. All right, so this is my version of Stampin' on the Fly. So there, it still looks like a laser cut. It's just going to be layered on top of a piece that is 11 by 4 1/4, because I always have those cut. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, so that's going to go on there. Oh, that's going to look much, much better. And we're doing Flirty Flamingo. So this is the darker side. This is the lighter side, which I can use either way. So let's see what's going to look better here. And I do have this cut to, I think it is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So the lighter or the darker? I think I'm going to go with the darker. I'm going to make that executive decision there. And because I have one that is made the other way, so I'll be able to show you that as a sample. So that's going to go on the card like this, like so. And I had this ready ahead of time, just not to, wait a minute. I don't want that. We want the Highland Heather, duh. There we go. Little brain freeze right there. All right. There we go. So it's still the same size. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Yeah, I like the dark better because I've been working using the lighter side. So that's going to go on there. This will go on the card base. And I want to put a piece of ribbon around this. Well, I don't have any ribbon that is Highland Heather or Gorgeous Grape, because this more features the Gorgeous Grape, with the lighter being the Highland Heather, and then the Highland Heather being more featured over here. And I think we'll go with this. But I figured out that this ribbon, which is Fresh Freesia, can be colored, and I think I need about 14 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. And I don't know if you knew this, but you can take one of your Stampin' Blends and color it. So I'm going to, I think I'll go ahead and use the Highland Heather. and add that color to the fresh freesia, and it will more align with the color that I really want instead of the fresh freesia, because I don't think that would look very good. So you can color your ribbon. You can take a white ribbon and match it with just about any color blend that you have. And I'm doing this on the silicone mat. It will dry very quickly, but I'll let it sit a little bit while I color something else. There we go. So look at the difference between the fresh freesia, which is one of the in colors, and now I have colored that, whoops, where'd we go here? Colored that with the Highland Heather, and you get a little bit darker look. I like the look of that. Okay, and it's dry already. And these ribbons are our, what are they called? Open weave ribbon. And we have these in all the in colors this year. And I just use a little binder clip to hold my ribbon in there so it doesn't keep rolling out on itself. Now, I had already done the one for Flirty Flamingo, and for that I used the Pale Papaya ribbon. And it looks pretty good. It's a pretty good look to go with that too, either way that it would be used. So I had that one already, just in case that was the color we used. Okay. So that's ready with that. I can put that aside. All right, things are kind of piling up around here. Let me put some things away. Let me put the dies away and get those out of my space. Okay, back to the stamp set. As I said, the dies can stand on their own. You don't need the stamp set to go with it. There are lots of things that would fit in the center of this, however you might choose to use it. But I do really like this lily, and I like the sentiments in here. Just to a note to let you know that someone thought of you today. In a world where you can be anything, thank you for being kind. Kindness is so important these days. I think people sometimes forget that. Because of you, you're the best. With heartfelt thanks, you're in my thoughts, and each day is a little brighter. So the sentiments alone are really good in this set too, even if you don't have the dies. It's great. So I've already got this stamp, and I don't have the index sheet on this yet. I haven't put it on. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But that is, it will still stick to your block. It's all personal choice. And let me grab a piece of basic white and Memento. When you're using Stampin' Blends, you want to use the Memento Jet Black ink. And this is a cling stamp, so I don't need anything special under it for a cushion like we do with the photopolymers. So there's that. And I don't know what color really lilies are. I suppose they can be any color we want. But I'm going to fussy cut this out. And I'm not going to fussy cut the whole thing because I do have part of one done. But when you fussy cut, you want to turn your paper and let the paper control where you cut. And I always like to leave a little bit of white around the edge so that it's not too close in case you cut a little bit further than where you want to be. So, do you like to fussy cut? You could sit in front of the TV and fussy cut a bunch of these. And then you would have them ready. Or you could just put it on the circle. I think it will fit on that circle and not have to do any fussy cutting. So I'm going to go over here. Then I will come back in and cut out that detail a little bit later. So with that in mind, I do have, with the magic of video, I've got one already cut out and partially colored. Now, you know that the Stampin' Blends do bleed through. So you always want to make sure that you're going to back it up to something else. So I'm just going to color the rest of this, and then we'll finish the card. And then I'll show you some other samples. So when I color with the blends, I like to start with the light color. Now everybody's different with what they like to do. You've got the brush end and you've got a bullet end. So depending upon the size of your image, how much, whether or not you want to start with the bullet end if it's a smaller one. So that's what I will do with this. And if you've never used the bullet end, or excuse me, used the Stampin' Blends, oh my, you would be in for a treat because they're just wonderful. They just color like butter. But you could also use regular markers. You could use a blender pen and watercolor. The basic white is probably not the best for watercoloring. I need to show that someday and do some watercoloring. I've never felt that I was a good watercolorer, but I've been working on it and it's not too bad. So there we have that. Now I'll take that same bullet end of the dark side, or the dark blend. These come as a bundle for $9, and you can get the two of those. I can't color and talk at the same time. Sorry about that. And highlight the edge. And let me go here, because no doubt I would go outside the lines. Sometimes we want to color outside the lines. Sometimes we don't. So I've added that. Now I can go back with my light color and blend that in. And when it dries, it will look more blended and it looks amazing. And perhaps you can see that from the others that I had done ahead of time. So now let's do some Old Olive here. This is probably my go-to green. We've got lots of green colors. Okay. And the lids on these are hard sometimes to pull off because alcohol will, let's see, did I pick the dark first? Okay, I picked the dark first, so I'm going to go around the edge. Because the alcohol will dry out. So you do want to get your caps on pretty fast after you're done coloring. Don't leave them undone, just like your ink pads. All right, okay, now I'll come in with the light. And fill that in. I think I'll come back and darken the ones that I'd already done too. All right, so let's put the card together. So that's what it ended up. And I had already started one with the Flirty Flamingo, which we did not choose. So I'll finish that one later. All right, put this together. And let's add the ribbon. And what I'm going to do is put some adhesive on the back, and thought I had my tear and tape here, but I don't. So I'll just use some of my seal. Okay. Put that around there. Then I'm going to cut that off and then tie that in the front. So let's see, I can't see where I'm going here. Okay, let's put that on here, and then I will attach that to the card. Wow, that is pretty. Okay, sometimes this adhesive just doesn't want to start, so you just kind of pull it to get it going. And there, now it's working fine. Okay, have you ever put on anything upside down? I always try to make sure that my card is going in the right direction. I've done that more times than not. So, okay, now I have adhesive where I don't want it, which means it will probably have to have something there. Okay. There we go. What do you think? So it's kind of a monochromatic card with just some purple, a little bit of green. And for that, we definitely need some dimensionals. And pop that up. Okay, Nancy, are you due for the same snowstorm up there in New York that we're going to get here on Thursday? Are you still there? Not so much worried about the snow as the ice they're saying we're going to get after the rain. That's kind of the scary part. So now I'm just going to take that piece that was left over and let's see. I don't know if there's really not enough there to tie a bow. So it's flipping the wrong way. Let me untie that and start again. Then I'm going to put a glue dot under that to hold it down. Well, all the weather forecasters around here are saying it's going to be a doozy. I thought we had our doozy a couple weeks ago. Goodness sakes. Okay, I might be able to use that for something else. Thank you, Sue. Let's see. Okay, I think that can do without a glue dot under there, but we need some embellishments. So what am I going to use? Okay, I guess the lilies need some butterflies. I love these new, I have to say this 3 times, brushed brass butterflies. What a tongue twister that is. So let's put a little one up there. Or that's one of the big ones. There's 2 sizes here. We'll put a little one on one of right there. That will highlight. And they're just, oh my gosh, they are gorgeous. Just gorgeous. And I like to do 3s, so let's do another one. And I like a little triangle shape too. Okay, let's put it down here. And I'm going to leave this without a sentiment because I can put something else on the inside. There's another little stamp that will go with it too. So let me show you the samples that I've done real quick because I see we're running a little bit more, a little bit longer than usual. Here's one I did also with the Marvelous. Very similar to what I just did. That only has one little butterfly on it. But on this one, I did take the small flower from the set and put the sentiment on the inside and a strip of the paper at the bottom because the paper was 6 by 6, so there was extra paper to go along the bottom. Okay, here's another one. You're in my thoughts. And on this, it is the doily shape cut out. If you can see that. And a little double black bow. You're in my thoughts. And I didn't put that anything on the inside there. And we've got some pearls. This is very similar to the one that I just did with the ribbon at the bottom. So as you can tell, I'm really liking this. Here's one that I did this morning. I finally did get the daffodil set, which I thought I had before when I was using the paper. And this is Happy Mother's Day that goes with the daffodil set. And this is, which ribbon did I use with that? Because we don't have an old olive ribbon in that open weave. So I colored, I think, the pale papaya on this one to get that color. So think about using your blends for that. And then I splattered that a little bit. And then this was one, got into the pink look here. So they're all very similar, but a little bit different depending upon the paper and the color. And that one is ready for a sentiment at the bottom there. And then this one, I'll leave you with a fun fold that I learned how to do, where that laser cut is there, and then a little fun fold like this. And it's the little things that make life great, and you're the best. And there's a piece of designer paper inside from the party pack, which is a hostess benefit. So there are the cards for today. I really appreciate you taking 45 minutes of your afternoon. I hope you enjoyed and I inspired you in some way. So have a great rest of the week. And if you're in the snow area, bundle up, stay warm, and gather in your supplies. So I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.